I was recently thinking a lot about pronouns for some reason, and it reminded me of the fun fact that pronouns are the only words in the English language that retain multiple cases. I should probably explain what a case is. Hello and welcome. I'm Zilla, and this is my Athenaeum. Today I want to talk about the grammatical phenomenon known as noun cases. A case is the form of a noun that tells you what its use in the sentence is. For instance, if you see the word they, you know it has to be the subject of the sentence, whereas if you see the word them, you know it has to be an object of some kind. That's a switch in case. In English, we usually explain noun usage with prepositions or word order. For instance, Catherine loves the cat is different than the cat loves Catherine, because the word order between the subject and object in relation to the verb changes. If you want an indirect object, or something else more complicated, you need to start adding in more complex structures, like prepositions. So, for instance, you can say, Catherine gave a treat to the cat. And Catherine's still our subject, then the verb, and then the object, which is now a treat. And then to marks that we have an indirect object, the cat, the recipient. But it doesn't have to work that way. In ancient Greek or Latin or Sanskrit, you can perfectly well say, the cat a treat Catherine gave, or gave a treat Catherine the cat. That's because you can change the form of the noun to show what use it has in the sentence. In Proto-Indo-European, the proto-language for things like English and Greek and Russian, we can reconstruct 8 cases firmly. Those cases happen to be preserved in Sanskrit. Nominative, or the subject case. This can also be called uninflected, or the dictionary form, since it's considered the basic form of the word. Accusative is the direct object case. It can also have a sense of moving towards or being nearby when used with certain prepositions. Genitive is the possessive case. Things in the genitive mark something as belonging to or being generated by the noun. Dative is the indirect object case. The name comes from the Latin verb meaning to give. This generally marks the recipient or beneficiary of an action. Ablative is the case of movement away from, so something like the cat ran away from the Roomba might use Roomba in the ablative case. Locative is the case of interiority, place where, so something like the cat hid in the pantry might have pantry in the locative case. Instrumental is the case for something that is used to do something else, or the person by whom something is done. So, something like, Catherine used the treat to lure the cat out of hiding might have the treat in the instrumental. And finally, the vocative case is used to call or invoke someone or something directly. So, something like, here, kitty kitty, might have kitty in the vocative. As I mentioned, all of these cases are preserved in Sanskrit, but other Indo-European daughter languages have preserved different amounts and different ways. Latin, for instance, has folded the instrumental into the ablative, and most of the locative is taken over by the accusative. Russian has only 6 cases, one of which is called prepositional, and Greek only has 4. English has almost entirely done away with the case system, with 2 major exceptions. I've already mentioned that pronouns retain some cases, but there is also the possessive genitive with apostrophe and s. But even that possessive genitive is a little bit weakened because the prepositional construction with of is fairly common. So what do I mean when I say that English pronouns still have cases? Well, when you look at a table of pronouns, it's actually fairly easy to spot. I, me, mine. We, us, ours. You, yours. He, him, his. she, her, hers, it, its, they, them, theirs, who, whom, whose. So we regularly use the nominative, accusative, and possessive genitive of our personal and interrogative pronouns. Though we do also have the confusing habit of having a lot of overlap between forms and also with our possessive pronouns, if you're wondering where things like my fit in. The set of all case forms for a noun is called a declension. That comes from the idea that the case endings lean, or clino, on the root of the noun. It's like a conjugation, but for nouns. But wait, there's more! We've just been talking about Indo-European languages, but other languages can have cases too. Let's take Finnish, which is part of the Uralic family, which also includes things like Hungarian and the Samoyed languages. Finnish has 15 cases, sharing only 4 with the 8 we've discussed. And things get more different the further out you go. For instance, there's still debate over whether Japanese particles, small words that get attached to nouns and phrases, functionally count as case markers. Partially because that would imply a much wider range of cases than anywhere else. So whether you decline to decline, or lean into it, you probably use cases every day. Keep learning, friends.